So today I'm going to be giving you my full review on Azzaro, the Most Wanted, which is the newest flanker in the line. This one did come out this year, and I did do a first impressions on this one, so if you missed that video, you could check that out here on the channel. And in that, I just gave you my initial thoughts on this one, just right off the top of my head, what it smells like, the notes I pick up on, and that sort of thing. I've had time to wear this one thoroughly. I've been able to test it. I've been able to see what the performance is like, and so I'm going to update you guys with a full review. And in this video, I'm also going to give you my current up-to-date thoughts on whether or not I think this one is worth picking up and how it stacks up to the rest of the Wanted fragrances. So like I said, this one is fully available on retailers now. If you want to grab one for yourself, I will link it down below. So let's go ahead and jump right into how this fragrance smells. Now, when you look at the note breakdown according to the official website and also Fragrantica, they only give you 3 notes, and that's been a common thing lately with a lot of new designer brands, is they're giving you 1 top, 1 mid, and 1 base note. And these are kind of the notes that they want to market to you in order to sell you the fragrance. There's obviously going to be more than 3 different notes and ingredients put in this scent, but they're just giving you 3. That's the ones that they want you to smell. And those 3 notes are cardamom up top, toffee in the mid, and amberwood in the base. So pretty basic, not a whole lot going on there just from the 3 that they give you. And again, a lot of brands have been doing this lately. I'm not fully sure why they're trying to limit us here. I know some people say that they're trying to keep clone companies from coming in and cloning a fragrance, but they don't actually clone a fragrance off of the notes. There's other ways of doing it where you can actually send in a fragrance to a particular company, and they will actually replicate that for you using just the resources they have available. So it's not really something to keep duplication from happening. I think it's more so a marketing thing. They don't want to overwhelm you. They want to give you certain notes, ones that you could probably pick up on, and leave everything else out. Kind of weird, but it is what it is. So when you first spray this one on, you do get that cardamom up top a little bit, not too strong though, giving it a bit of a spicy kick, a bit of a sweetness. Along with that cardamom up top, you get a little bit of that toffee coming through pretty much right away. Now the toffee is giving off kind of a gourmand aspect, so the fragrance has quite a bit of sweetness going on. It's toffee, and it almost is like a coffee type of smell also. And in my first impressions video, I initially compared this one to Halloween Man X, and I still do think that there is somewhat of a comparison here to Halloween Man X, just a little bit from all of that sweetness. Now, Halloween Man X is still going to be a different fragrance, one of its own, and that one also is going to be much cheaper at discounters than what this one will be once it hits. Again, we're looking at full retail price, but you got to think in the future, this one will land around probably, I don't know, the $50, $60 range, maybe a little bit less, depending on just kind of the bottle size and that sort of thing, maybe even $40, $50 range. Halloween Man X is still usually a $20, $25 scent, so that one is still cheaper. And while they have similarities, there's also differences, and there's also different price points to look at as well. But it does have a little bit of a Halloween Man X type of smell, from a spiciness, from a sweetness, and almost does have just a bit of a bubblegumminess. This one more so than Halloween Man X. And that bubblegummy type of smell is going to be coming from the amberwood, which is listed in the scent, and you do get a lot of it. And actually, it's kind of funny when you think about it, because when they're only giving you 3 notes, you know, they want to really make a good impression here. They want to give you notes that are really going to market well and sell well. And people who are in the fragrance community would probably see that amberwood and go the other direction because it's used a lot. It's kind of like the next ambroxan, and really it is kind of a form of ambroxan in a way, or ambergris has a similar type of thing going on, and a lot of fragrances use it. So you would think they would maybe exclude that one and put in something a bit more interesting. But again, they're marketing to the masses, they're not marketing to us. And maybe when people see amberwood, it makes them want this scent. I'm not really fully sure what the idea is behind that. So really, of those notes, I get the cardamom, I get the toffee, I get the amberwood. It's a pretty good representation of the scent. For me, I do pick up on some mild woods in this one. Maybe a bit of a sandalwood, because it kind of has a creaminess. So a little bit of sandalwood here in the base. I get what almost comes across as like a freshness, like maybe a bit of a lavender. Not a freshness like a geranium or a mint or even like a citrus. Just kind of more of an aromatic type of freshness in this one. That really wouldn't be coming from the cardamom or the toffee. Really, it wouldn't be coming from the amberwood either. For me, in this one, the amberwood is providing that bubblegummy sweetness and just kind of that modern cologne type of smell, which again is used in a lot of scents. automatically kind of tying this one back to a lot of other fragrances out there in one way or another. So personally, while I enjoy the smell of this one, I think it smells great. It's going to be a great compliment getter. I do think that Wanted by Night is still better. Now, here's how I would rank them. I would rank them as Wanted by Night as my favorite. Up next would be the Most Wanted right here. This one coming in at number 2. That's pretty solid. Coming in at number 3 would be the Original. Coming in at 4th would be Tonic. That's how I would rank them for all the fragrances in the line here. This one's not number 1, but there is a bit of a gap between number 1, Wanted by Night, and the Most Wanted here. While I do like it, I don't know, I think Wanted by Night just checks off more of the boxes for me. I do find this one to be somewhat lacking some more creativity in a way, but I also do like it more than the Original Wanted, which was just a bit too lemon heavy and strong and even more bubblegummy for my personal taste. Performance on my skin from this fragrance is very solid. I get every bit of 7-8 hours longevity out of this one, which is really good, especially for something that's going to be in that, I don't know, $40 to $60 price spread when it hits discounters. I can't complain about that. This one is an eau de parfum intense, so it does perform pretty good for its concentration. In terms of projection, it's not a projection beast. It's not going to be as strong as the Original Wanted, and on my personal skin, it's also not as strong as Wanted by Night, but it does still push out. There is still that bubblegum sweetness. It does still have that depth. It will get you noticed, just maybe not as loud as some of the other ones. But, you know, this one is kind of marketed in a way as like a parfum, and really the sense of the bottle. You'll see a lot of brands when they release a parfum, it'll be essentially kind of all blacked out like this. Very nice, sleek look. And while it's not a parfum concentration, you know, we kind of had the EDT, the EDP, and now the parfum. And of course, Tonic is like the summer edition. So that's kind of how I see it as. And for that, you know, I do think it does pretty well here overall. I see this one being great in the fall and winter time in terms of situations. A good date fragrance is really kind of what I see this one for. I see the Original Wanted good for maybe younger guys going to parties, that sort of thing. Wanted by Night maybe for an evening out or date, and this one also would be really good for a date as well. You could also kind of split it up and say Wanted Tonic and Wanted the Original would be good in spring, summer, Wanted by Night, and this one more in fall, winter time. Really just take your pick. But I do think this one is a little bit more quiet, a little bit more smooth than Wanted by Night, which could be a positive for you, making this one really good for a date night. Again, compliment factor on this one is going to be really good. It's an Azzaro fragrance from a, you know, highly complimented fragrance line. So that's about what you would expect here. It's going to be one that most people are going to like. A lot of that due to the amberwood, bubblegummy type of thing that this one has going on overall. That's really going to boost it up in the mass appeal department. Really, anyone of any age could pull this one off, I think. Some are going to say it does lean youthful, and I would agree. It does have that youthful type of smell, but it doesn't really matter. If you like the smell of it, no matter what your age is, you can pull this one off, no problem. All in all, I think this is a solid fragrance. Now, what I would have liked to see out of this one is maybe a few things here. I would have liked to see maybe a bit of oud. That's a bit divisive, that's a bit controversial. A lot of you are probably screaming, no oud in a designer fragrance like this, but, you know, a light oud, something that could be used in like a Calvin Klein. Like Calvin Klein Euphoria Intense uses a bit of oud. Very light, very subtle, but it works. Would have been nice to see that. If they didn't like that idea, maybe a bit of a boozy accord like a rum or a cognac or even a whiskey top note. That would have been really, really good, I think. And if you keep everything else the same, add that in there, that would have been solid. Also, maybe a bit of leather. I'm not picking up on any leather from this one. Frankly, I don't think it's in there, or if it is, it's not as strong as maybe I would have liked to see. A bit of a leather note would have been nice to give it a bit more of an edge as well. Could have thrown in a couple other notes too, maybe a bit of a stronger patchouli in here or something along those lines. You know, just give us something to spice it up a little bit. I would have really liked to see that. But all in all, I do think it is a solid flanker here. And while it's not my number one favorite, hey, it does come in at number 2, which isn't too bad. The Wanted line isn't really my favorite designer line. I do think Wanted by Night is the best and just on its own a really good fragrance. This one coming in at 2nd, but again, there's a relatively large gap between the two. I think Wanted by Night really is just kind of the best of all of them, And I would say for most of you, that's the one that I would recommend you go with. I would say even skip the original, skip tonic, and a lot of you could probably skip this one and get want to by night, but it is personal preference. Try before you buy, or if you don't like it, just buy it and then sell it again, I guess, or give it away. Just kind of find out what you like. Who knows, you may love the scent. For me, it's a pretty solid like, but it's not a love, and it's also not a dislike either. If you guys have tried this one, let me know what you think down below. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.